Let's get something clear right now. Women don't always make sense on this surface. One minute she's into you, then next, she's distant. She says she wants Ariel man in her life, but when you show up with genuine intention, she pulls away. Confusing, right? But here's the hard truth. Most men don't understand. Sometimes the moment a woman wants youth most is exactly when she pushes youth hardest. And if you don't understand you'll react emotionally, chase harder, or walk away in frustration and loathe her. This behavior isn't always about disinterest. In fact, it's often rooted in fear, emotional vulnerability, or even testing your strength. A lot of modern women are operating in survival mode, hyper-independent, constantly guarding their hearts, conditioned not to trust easily, so when she feels real feelings for you, feelings that threaten her emotional control, she panics. She doesn't know whether to let you in or protect herself. And unfortunately, that protection often looks like distance, attitude, or straight-up rejection. If you take that at face value, you'll misread the whole situation, and most men do. They become needy, reactive, and start pushing for clarity or validation, doing the exact opposite of what would work. That's why this video matters. You're going to learn the real reason women behave this way, and how to respond like a masculine man who understands the game, not with emotion, but with strategy and calm control. This isn't about manipulation, it's about awareness and power. The more you understand female behavior, the more you lead with confidence and strength, even when her actions don't make logical sense. Her fear of losing control her fear of losing control. When a woman starts falling deeply for a man, something unexpected happens inside her. She begins to lose the emotional control she spent years building, and that scares her more than most men realize. You see, many women, especially in today's dating world, are raised to believe that vulnerability equals weakness. They've been hurt, lied to, played, abandoned, or rejected. So, when real feelings for you start to surface, it doesn't feel exciting at first. It feels dangerous. Her emotions begin to overpower her logic. She starts to imagine needing you, missing you, wanting your presence in ways she can easily explain or manage. And that level of emotional intensity is frightening base. It puts her in a position where you now have power, not because you're trying to control her, but because Theon who feels more usually feels less in control. So instead of leaning in, she pulls back. Instead of opening up, she creates distance. She may go cold, act uninterested, or even pretend you're not that important to her. This isn't rejection in the traditional sense. It's emotional self-preservation. And most men misread this pullback as a signal to chase harder, text more, prove their worth, or demand answers. Every time you do that, you reinforce your fear. She starts to believe she was right to pull back because now you're showing signs of neediness, which turns off her attraction even more. The right response is not to panic. You must understand this for what it is, an emotional moment of internal conflict within her. She doesn't hate you. She's not bored. She's scared of the power Yano hold over her emotions. And the way to handle that is with masculinity. Pull back a little. Give her space to feel those emotions. Let her come to terms with the fact that her feelings don't mean weakness. They mean connection. And the only way she'll believe that is if you don't force her to explain or validate them. A woman's fear of losing control isn't always zabal. It hides behind excuses like, I'm busy, or, I need time, or, I'm just not ready. What she's really saying is, I feel too much, and I don't. What to do with it? The man who understands this doesn't rush to fix it. He doesn't try to make her talk about it or seek constant reassurance. He remains steady, grounded, and unbothered by the pushback. And eventually, when she sees that, he's not chasing or falling over her distance, her fear starts to fade. That's when she starts coming back, not because you forced her, but because you gave her the emotional safety of knowing she can feel something for you, without losing herself in the process. She tests what you're made of too. She tests what you're made of. When a woman starts pushing you away, especially right after showing interest, it's not always about her emotions spiraling out of control. Sometimes it's deliberate. It's a test. Not out of malice or manipulation, but out of instinct. A woman wants to know what kind of man she's dealing with. Can you handle pressure? Do you collapse when things get uncertain? Do you stay grounded, or do you get emotional and start begging for attention? These are really silent questions she's asking when she pulls back, and how you respond will determine how she sees you from that point forward. Modern dating is full of distractions, options, and emotions. Women have learned to protect themselves by filtering out weak energy, and that filter often comes in the form of testing. She might stop replying to your texts as quickly. She might cancel plans last minute. She might become cold or start acting indifferent. It's not always a sign patches over you. It's often a way to see if you'll crumble or rise. She's emotional strength, not because she enjoys playing games, but because she needs to feel safe before she lets her guard down. Most men fail this test because they get reactive. They start sending long messages trying to explain their worth. They ask her what's wrong. They beg for clarity. In doing so, they show her that they're controlled by her emotions, and that instantly kills attraction, because here's the truth. A man who cannot hold himself together under pressure cannot lead her through. That's how she sees it. And now a woman wants to emotionally invest in a man she cannot respect. Now, here's where it gets real. If you stay calm, collected, and detached from the outcome when she tests you, she notices. If she senses that you're by her sudden coldness and that you're not chasing after her validation, she starts to feel something deeper. Respect. Respect leads to attraction, and attraction leads to trust. That's their all game. Don't respond with anger. Don't try to prove anything. If she becomes cold, you match her energy with grace and strength. You don't disappear to manipulate. You detach to protect your own self. If she cancels on you, you don't argue or whine. You let it go and keep living. This communicates you're emotionally independent and not afraid of losing someone who's unsure of you. That's power. That's masculinity. And believe it or not, that quiet strength is what makes her come back even harder, because she knows she can't shake you. A woman pushes you away to test if you're just another guy looking for quick validation, or if you're a man who commands respect through emotional control. Every man gets tested. The smart ones don't react. They observe. They stay in their lane and they let their strength speak louder than their words. She's battling her own past. She's battling her own past. Sometimes when a woman starts to you, it isn't just about you. It's about everything she's been through. Before you came into the picture, that coldness, that distance, that moment when she suddenly becomes emotional unival, right after things start getting serious. It's not always because she doesn't want you. It's often because she's being haunted by memories of being hurt, betrayed, or abandoned. She's not pushing you away. She's pushing away the fear of repeating the same pain. And if you take it personally, you'll miss the bigger picture. A woman who has been broken before doesn't just open her heart easily. You may be doing everything right, showing her consistency, being genuine, treating her with respect. But if her past has taught her that even the best guys can change overnight, she struggled to fully trust what's happening. And that inner battle shows up in strange ways. She may become hot and cold. One day, she's calling you her peace. The next, she's avoiding you like you've done something wrong. But it's not always about the present. It's the trauma of the past resurfacing. Now, here's where most men mess up. They react to that shift in energy by becoming overly emotional. They what's wrong? Questioning themselves, or trying to overcompensate with affection. But when you do that, you're not healing her wounds. You're retriggering more of them. Why? Because they are reinforcing the fear that emotions bring instability. What she actually needs is emotional consistency, not panic, not pressure, and definitely not neediness. The smart man understands that he is not responsible for her past, but he is responsible for maintaining his frame in the present. When she starts to retreat, her fears are activated. You don't follow her into that emotional spiral. You remain calm, composed, and grounded. You don't pressure her to talk about it unless she chooses to. You don't try to fix her. You simply give her space and let her choose you again without force, without emotional bribes. And here's the secret. When she sees that you're not reacting to her triggers the way others did, something shifts. She begins to realize that you're neither to hurt her, control her, or use her. You're not like the ones who caused her pain. That realization builds a deeper level of trust and respect. And hence, a woman respects you through thousands of emotional safety. She becomes far more open, affectionate, and the reason she pushes Yahweh even when she wants you is because he is at war with the scars she hides. But the man who wins isn't the one who chases her during her retreat. It's the one who stands tall, doesn't lose his buttons, and becomes the calm she can return to when the storm in her mind She's seeing if you'll chase for. She's seeing if you'll chase. There's a moment in almost every developing connection where the woman pulls back, not because she's lost interest, but because she wants to see what you'll do. And this is where men failed without even knowing it. See, when a woman starts to catch real feelings for you, part of her wonders if you feel the same. But instead of coming right out and asking, she often creates space. That space is not just distance, it's a test. She wants to see if you'll chase her, not because she needs attention, but because she's trying to measure your emotional control and see if you're the type of man who leads or the type who clings. In Hermond, if she becomes slightly noble, and you instantly panic, blowing up her phone, asking why she's distant, begging for her time, then she knows she has you emotionally wrapped up. That might feel good at first, but ultimately it kills attraction. Why? Because the moment you start chasing a woman, you change the dynamic. You go from being the man who was centered, mysterious, and masculine, to a man who is now reacting to her energy instead of holding his own. That shift makes her question everything. This doesn't mean you should never initiate. It doesn't mean you should ignore her or play childish games. It means you need to recognize the difference between leading and chasing. Leading is when you move with confidence, purpose, and clarity. Chasing is when you move with anxiety, desperation, and the fear of losing her. And she can feel that difference, even if you don't say a word. Many women, especially those used to her attention, will subconsciously push men away just to see what sticks around and how they behave in silence. It's her way of gauging your value. A high-value man doesn't flinch when she pulls back. He gives her space and keeps living. He lets her wander. He lets her feel the void. And in doing so, he shifts the emotional weight back onto her shoulders. Now, she's the one wondering if she missed. She's the one asking herself why you didn't chase. That's where the real attraction begins. Not in the chasing, but in the stillness. Think of it like this. If you chase, you're telling her she's the prize. But if you remain composed and patient, you remind her thought, you're the prize, too. This balance of mutual respect and self-worth is what makes a woman come closer, not just because she wants you, but because she knows she can't manipulate you emotionally. That builds trust, that builds curiosity, that builds something real. So when she pulls away, don't panic, don't chase, observe, respond with calm strength. Let her feel the silence and, most importantly, let her make the next move. She's afraid you'll see the real Herfy. She's afraid you'll see the real Herfy. There comes a point in almost every connection where a woman starts to feel seen, not just for her looks or personality, but for who she really is beneath the surface. And surprisingly, that's exactly when some women start pulling away. It sounds backward, but is real. The more emotional disconnect she feels, the more vulnerable she becomes. And when that vulnerability creeps in, many women suddenly retreat. Why? Because she's afraid you'll see parts of her she spent years hiding. The flaws, the insecurities, the emotional bag, the scars. She may act strong, confident, and put together on the outside, but underneath that image is often a woman who's been judged, shamed, or rejected in the past. Maybe she's been told she's too emotional, too needy, or not good enough. Maybe she's been through failed relationships where her authentic self wasn't accepted. Sano, even though she wants you, she fears that if you get too close, you'll eventually see her imperfections and decide to walk away. That fear doesn't always show up in words, it shows up in distance, in sudden coldness, in confusing behavior, not because she doesn't like you, but because she likes you too much and doesn't want to risk being rejected at her most vulnerable. Now, here's where most men fail. They take her withdrawal personally. They start trying to prove that they're different. They say things like, "You can trust me," or "I would never hurt." And while those words may be true, they come off as just that. Words. A woman who's been hurt doesn't respond to verbal promises. She responds, tone energy. And if your energy becomes anxious, if your tone changes, if you start chasing her for reassurance, you confirm her deepest fear, that closeness leads to instability. What she needs isn't you trying to fix her or draw out her emotional wounds. What she needs is your emotional stability. She needs to see that even when she pulls back, even when she acts distant or unsure, you remain grounded. You don't overreact. You don't take it personally. You stay firm in who you are. That's what builds trust. That's what allows her to slowly let her guard down. Not because you begged for it, but Bufkus, she saw that you're strong enough to handle all of her, not just polished, pretty version, and her rest truth. The more grounded you are, the more her fear starts to fade. She begins to realize that she doesn't need to hide her true self around you. She doesn't need to perform or pretend. She can be real, emotional, messy, unsure, and you won't run. That safety is what opens her up again. And when she feels safe, the pushback ends, the walls come down. So remember this. If she starts pushing you away as things get deeper, it might not be a rejection. It might be fear that you'll see the sides of her she's terrified to show. Handle it with quiet strength. And she's slowly giving more than you ever expected. She's not sure she deserves you. She's not sure she deserves you. Sometimes the reason a woman pushes you, even when she clearly wants you, has nothing to do with how she feels about you, but everything to do with how she feels about herself. In the modern world, where surface-level confidence is often confused with true self-worth, many women walk around with unresolved insecurities buried under polished exteriors. A woman might smile, flirt, laugh, and carry herself like she's got it all together, but deep down, she might not truly believe she deserves a good none. And the closer you get, the more that fear starts to take over. If you are the kind of man who brings stability, emotional maturity, purpose, and presence, you automatically stand out. You're not just another guy trying to impress her. You're someone who offers something real, and that can be intimidating to a woman who's only used to men who play games or feed off drama. When she sees that you're serious, consistent, and genuinely interested in her beyond her looks or social image, it shakes her inner world. Now she starts asking herself questions. Why me? What did he really see in me? What happened when he realizes I'm not perfect? She might begin to feel like she can't meet your standards. She might convince herself you'll eventually leave once you see her flaws. And instead of risking that heartbreak later, she does now to protect herself from what she believes is inevitable. She might even sabotage the connection, picking fights, acting uninterested, or pretending she's too busy for you. But real issue isn't you. It's that she sees you as more than she thinks she deserves. And if you don't understand that, you'll take her behavior as rejection and walk away too soon. This is where your patience and awareness as a man come in. You need to realize that the self-doubt isn't something you can fix for her. You can't force her to believe she deserves love, but you can stay grounded and consistent in how you'll show up. You don't chase. You lead with quiet strength. You make it clear through your energy that you know your own worth and you're willing to give her the space to rise up to meet you, not drag you down with fear. One of the most powerful things a man can do is to hold his frame when a woman starts doubting herself, not by over-explaining or trying to save her, but by letting her feel the contrast between your strength and her insecurity, and giving her the choice to rise. You don't lower yourself to make her feel better. You stay elevated, calm, and unshaken. That energy invites her to grow into the connection, instead of running from it. So, if she starts to pull away, even while showing interest, understand, she might not be running from you. She might be running from the idea that she could finally have something real. Don't let the fear change your posture. Stand firm, and she'll either rise up to meet you or reveal that she's not ready for the kind of man you are. She wants you to prove you're different, Seven. She wants you to prove you're different. When a woman pushes you away, even while she clearly wants you, one of the most overlooked reasons is this. She wants to know if you're truly different from every other man who's disappointed her. This isn't always a game, and it's not always a sign of drama. It's a deep psychological defense built from past experiences. Because let's be honest, many women today have dealt with men who started off strong, said all the right things, made bold promises, then disappeared, cheated, or switched up as soon as feelings got real. So now, even when she's genuinely attracted to you, she's cautious. She might smile on this surface, but deep down she's thinking, how long until he shows his real face? Will he still want me when things are messy? Is he going to run the moment I let my guard down? That doubt, the thought, the hesitation creates a wall. And the way she tests that wall isn't always verbal. She doesn't always say, show me you're different. Instead, she watches, she distances herself, not to punish you, but to see how you'll react when things aren't smooth and easy. Here's the mistake most men make. They get upset that they even have to prove anything. They take it as an insult, like their word alone should be enough. But in the real world, actions reveal character, and a woman who has been disappointed or betrayed before isn't just listening to what you say, she's studying your behavior under pressure. She wants to know, will you stay calm when she's cold? Will you back off when she's distant? Or will you suffocate her with neediness? Will you remain consistent even when she's unsure? She might cancel plans out of nowhere. She might stop replying to your texts as quickly. She might even start pulling back affection or interest. And in those moments, your response is what makes or breaks everything. If you become emotionally reactive, if you blow up her phone or try to guilt trip her, you show her you're no different than the rest. But if you remain composed, still interested but not needy, still grounded but not chasing, you speak alums, you show her you're not mavadbi temporary storms, you're built for long game. Being different doesn't mean being perfect. It means staying solid in who you are, without forcing her to feel what she's not ready to feel. You don't try to control the situation. You control yourself. And when she sees that, truly sees it, she begins to realize that maybe, just maybe, she doesn't need to push you away this time. Because this time she's dealing with a man who's not like the rest. A man who leads, stays composed, and doesn't run from uncertainty. So, when she pushes you away, don't get emotional. Understand what's happening beneath the surface. She's not just testing your patience, she's testing your foundation. If that's solid, she'll feel safe. If it's not, she'll keep running. Con. When a woman pushes you away, even though she wants you, it's not always, it's often fear, self-doubt, or a silent test of your emotional strength. Most men react, chase, or collapse under pressure, losing her respect in the process. But the man who remains calm, unbothered, and grounded through her confusion becomes the one she trusts, desires, and eventually likes. This isn't about games, it's about leadership, awareness, and control. Let her push, let her test. Your power is in not being shaken. When she realizes she can't break your frame, that's when she truly begins to